All right. Hello, everyone. We are back for another week of exciting rehearsals. This week, we're talking all things drum major. So we'll find out what made Nicole say.
Well, I was just about to say, this is part of the marching arts, and this is something that flow marching should jump on.
And why Colleen said.
And that was a big thing because Scots Guards don't have any females, and I'm a civilian.
All this and more, so get out on the field, and we'll see you back on the sidelines for this week's episode of On a Water Break at
8 off the mat and go. Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in. It's time for a water break.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Season 2 of On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. I'm Jack Goudreau. So, we're going international this week. We're talking about some marching arts in Scotland and in the United States, all with the focus of Mace Flourishing. One of our hosts, well, actually, both of them have both just come back from international tattoo events, international Scottish tattoo events, either in Scotland or in the lovely state of Colorado. So let's see who's on the sideline this week. Nicole, what's up?
Hey, Jack. I've never done an episode with you.
I know. This is awesome. We're finally crossing paths. I'm so excited to have you on. I know.
I know.
I'm so excited to hear from you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm into the thick of judging for marching band right now. So got the first show down, going to New York this week. So
you're traveling across the country then, huh?
Pretty much. After that, I go to Nebraska. I'm just jaunting here and there.
So are you? What caption are you judging?
I do visual effect and color guard.
Love that. Oh, awesome! It's going to be awesome to have your perspective on the show today. All right. Yeah. So now let's bring in our two drum majors, two of my favorite people. So both of them, Zach, and Colleen. Starting with Zach. Zach, what are you up to, man?
I've been at the Estes Park International Tattoo in Colorado, performing as a flourishing drum major. And I just moved into UCLA, where I'll be studying, and I'll be participating in the marching band here.
Just a shout out for Zach as one of my former students. We were all very, very proud of you. You're doing awesome. You're kicking butt, kicking names.
Thank you.
All right. And then my amazing aunt, Colleen. What's up? How are you doing? What you been up to?
There we go. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. I have been trying to recover from a month in Scotland, a weekend in Pleasanton, followed by Estes Park. And now I've got some other adventures coming up, 2 more events before the end of this season for me. Very exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's so nice to have the tattoo perspective on this show because we've talked a lot of field show on this show. We've talked a lot of parade band, but it's awesome to talk about how do you describe it? One of the big performances in the Scottish drum major circle, which is the tattoo format, right? So I'm so excited to have you guys on with all this new travel, new perspective. I'm so excited for our audience to be exposed to this. So let's move on now to the news. Let's go. All right, Nicole, starting with you, what's going on?
Oh my goodness. So Hondo Battle of the Bands is actually revealing that they are going to have a lineup for the first ever showcase that's in LA, as in Los Angeles.
Oh, awesome.
At the Sofi Stadium. And, oh my gosh, Nick Cannon's going to be the host. Yeah, that's huge.
A good venue. That's going to be a perfect venue for that performance, right?
It's a great venue. And they haven't had it there before, but they've always had it in places that are huge because those HBCU bands are big. The more bigger thing than this though is it's Honda. You can't get a bigger sponsor than that. So this is very true. So Honda Battle of the Bands is the nation's premier showcase with all the historically Black colleges and universities and with their marching bands. They revealed a full lineup just to give you a little taste of what it is.
Yeah.
It starts off with Hampton University and the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Nice.
So after that, Alabama A&M University, they're called the Marching Maroon and White Band. Alabama State, Mighty Marching Hornets.
Awesome.
Hampton University, the Marching Force. North Carolina A&T, Blue and Gold Marching Machine, which I have friends who are on staff there.
Oh, awesome.
So good luck to them. And Southern University, Human Jukebox Marching Band, which is so great.
Yeah.
Have you? Man, they're amazing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the sound can be heard for miles. I love the HBCU sound. In my opinion, that punch, that brass punch, nowhere else on earth can you find that except in those schools. I mean, they have it down to a T. So, I mean, I love that's coming to LA too, like it's awesome that we get to be exposed to that, right?
I'm loving the fact that HBCUs are becoming more of a household thing and not something that people are like, oh, what is this? 2 years ago, during Black History Month, I did a kind of a round table with different sections of HBCU marching bands all together from different marching bands. So it was really cool to have that like coming together, and people were talking about how it is, because this is all like, yes, they do come together and they play, but there's a swagger that comes with it. There's an attitude, and it's all showmanship. So it's very good.
The history of it too. I mean, like the history and heritage of the HBCU band. I mean, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a tradition that should be kept on going, right?
Right. Check that episode out because it goes into the tradition and how it started and everything else. But just to give a little more about that. So Nick Cannon's going to be the host, and we all know about Nick Cannon, but to give you a little bit, he's a celebrity. So he's done film and he's done TV. He actually did the movie Drumline.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. He was that drummer in Drumline. So I think this kind of like brings kind of some things full circle and hopefully, amplifies those voices even more. So let's see. There's a huge process for this event, but the way that we watch it as spectators, you would never even know. I'm not going to go ahead and get into all of that, but I will go down into letting you all know that the bands receiving the two highest votes because they have a roster that they go through.
Right.
These schools are eligible for 2 final spots in the Honda Battle of the Bands 2025 lineup.
Next year.
So that's how they bookend it. So with that,
okay, awesome. Yeah, well, thank you for that awesome piece of news. All right, moving on to Zach. Zach, what do you have for us today?
So we're going to be moving to the region of Washington, D.C., where the Eastern High School has been honored with a street named after their marching band. In June, the D.C. Council passed an act to pass a portion of A Street after the Eastern Blue and White Marching Machine to celebrate the achievements of the band. And this street is between North Carolina Avenue and 17th Street, Northeast, which is going to be located near the school. So what an awesome feat for the marching band, and what an awesome way to honor that.
That would be really cool. Like somebody asked you like, hey, what high school do you go to? I go to Bishop Manor. Where is that? Bishop Manor Road.
Exactly.
Easy.
All right. And back to Nicole. Nicole, what's going on at Appalachian High School?
Well, we all know about the school shooting that happened at Appalachian High School. I know that they did have a marching band. Just to go a little bit more into that, there was a post that was made in the band director's Facebook page. Give me a moment. I'm just going to go ahead and read this verbatim because I think it speaks more to to why this is happening.
Right.
So William Kilgore posted this, and he said, in an effort to encourage continued support for the Appalachian high school community in wider Georgia, we're encouraging bands across the nation to join us. We are asking school bands of all types to perform, record, and post their performances of the Appalachian Fight song on social media and throughout the internet. They want to honor those affected by the Appalachian High School event by filling the air with the sound of their school's fight song as an ode to the Appalachian community. This fight song videos is just a way to show support to the students in these days of restoration. Performing and posting the fight song is an avenue for band kids who wanted to express their love and care, but weren't exactly sure how to contribute. So he says, I'm thankful that we can use music to unite us and create something beautiful in this time of healing. So join us in actually performing the Appalachian Fight song. So there's a Google Drive that's been shared for Appalachian High School Fight song that's been shared on social media. And let's see, William Kilgore is the band director of Jackson County High School. So the idea is to have every school in America basically perform that and post it so that the folks at Appalachia can just, feel the support.
Absolutely. And in music, we have that special opportunity to be one voice together. And I think it's moments like this where we as musicians and as leaders need to be one voice. So for all our listeners out there who are band directors, we'll share the Google Drive in our posts, and if you can just do that, that would be awesome. Just honoring those who had to go through that incident. It's a very, very delicate situation, and we send all our best wishes out there to Appalachian High School.
Absolutely.
All right, and just to wrap up our news today, a piece of news that comes near and dear to me and Colleen specifically: the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo lead designer Michael B. is going to step down from his senior role as design lead after his 3 years on staff. So during his 3 years, congratulations, amazing set of performances. He had the responsibility of producing the following Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo productions. 3 years ago, in 2022, with The Voices. In 2023, the theme was Stories. And finally, in 2024, was Journeys. And these three performances really served as a bookend for the past 3 years, which has been awesome. It's told the continuous concept of unity and kindness through all humanity throughout the performance. And he's just done an amazing job with the effects. He's brought on new shows such as the Techno Pipes portion of the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo, which has been a really cool hit. It's a crowd favorite. Everyone goes berserk. It's really cool. If you don't know what it is, look it up on YouTube. You'll know exactly what it is.
Jack, I have a little fun fact for you.
Yes, absolutely.
When I was in high school,
Yes.
Junior going to be a senior, our theater went to the Fringe Festival, and we actually attended the Edinburgh Military Tattoo.
Isn't it a once in a lifetime experience just to be able to see that level of performance, right?
Just to see bagpipes from all over. We saw folks from Egypt dressed in like the regalia,
right,
playing bagpipes. It was amazing to me.
Yeah. Colleen, do you have anything to say about it? Since you've been in 2 out of the 3, you've been in 2 out of the 3 of those.
Yeah. Oh, it's such an amazing event to be in, to participate in. And the first year, Jack, when you and I were there for Voices, and we did our own flourishing routine, which was had not been done. And
never.
And we did all the performances, and fortunately didn't get rained on, so that was nice. But meeting all of the cast, and talking to the people from where they're from. When Jack and I were there, it was the kids from Mexico, and they were so much fun. They were such a blast. And then this year we had the team from India that came, and they included the tattoo dancers, and they did the Bollywood kind of thing. It was very, very culturally enriching and just really fun to watch. But being in the role this time for me as a regimental drum major was just it was awesome. it was very, it was fun to be able to walk across that drawbridge and march down that esplanade, and it was mind blowing.
Yeah, and so for people who don't know, the entrance into the performance zone is the Edinburgh Castle. So the entire cast basically goes back into the castle. They light these goblets of fire on either side of this drawbridge, and the cast marches out onto the esplanade. An esplanade is a big flat area in front of the castle, and that's where the grandstands are. And so you get these massive grandstands going up stories, and everyone's looking down on you. And at night, in the Scottish gale, when it's pouring down, it's one of the coolest, most epic things you could do as like a Scottish drum major, is to march across the bridge next to the goblets of fire. It's really cool, really cool. Just a side note. So that'll wrap up our news for today. All right, it's time to get back into the parade block so we can be ready for this new homecoming parade. So we'll be right back as we dive deeper into the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo and SS First.
Hey, this is Christine Ream.
And Chris Green.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs.
Our consignment inventory has plenty of great looks for your color guard, drumline, and marching band.
Pay it forward. When you purchase consignment, you help other programs. Last year, we sold over 400 sets of consignments and returned over $125,000 in payments to our consigners for their sales.
Additionally, Guard Closet offers custom and pre-designed costumes, flags, floors, and formal wear, full or partial show writing, educational programming, and other services.
Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
The Guard Closet team is here to help you get everything you want and need for your season. Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
And we are back. All right. So this has been a whirlwind set of months. Past 3 months for me have been crazy. Colleen, Zach, I know it's been crazy for you too. So starting with you, Colleen, let's dig into more of just the performance schedule that you've been on. I know you've been running back and forth across the world, actually. So what you've been up to? Let's talk about it.
So in the end of July is when we fly into Edinburgh, and everybody gets their kits, gets their room assignments, and thankfully had en suite this year. So woo, that was great. But big deal. So we, of course, we're on the buses. We're going to Redford Barracks to practice and to get things down. And those are really grueling days because there's a lot of standing, there's a lot of waiting, there's a lot of instruction, there's lots of practice. And so it was just very different being in the drum major with the other tattoo drum majors, and not being flourishing drum majors. We were off on the grass practicing, learning our routines, but having to, take a file of a band and lead them through a drill, where this year we made a formation of an anchor in honor of the sea services.
That's awesome.
So that was
So how was interacting and interfacing with different drum majors from around the world? How was that? And then, who were some of the names that you were marching with? Yeah.
So we had 6 tattoo pipes and drums drum majors. It was Kevin Conquest, myself. We had Pepe from New Mexico. We had Marco from Frankfurt, Germany. We had, of course, Michael Binder from Edinburgh. And who am I forgetting? Oh, Matt Hunter. And he was also from Scotland, I think maybe from Glasgow area. Very talented drum majors. And it was a lot of fun. We rotated. So everybody got to be on a performance, and if somebody had family and friends, we would trade so that, they could actually see us in a significant part of the show. So it worked out really well. And I was very excited and honored to lead the Scots Guards a few nights because
That's
was
awesome.
and it was funny because saying you're leading Scots Guards, and I'm saying yes, and that was a big thing because Scots Guards don't have any females, and I'm a civilian,
Ooh.
and so it was quite
Whole lot of firsts right there. That's
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. And so, could you just describe for the audience? We've talked about it in our one-on-one interview before, but what is a tattoo? Could you describe that for them?
So a tattoo is a military display and lots of music and lots of dancing and international acts that will incorporate bagpipes. So we had acts from, like I said, India. We had Australia, New Zealand. Had, let me see. Well, of course, the Royal, sorry, I'm getting my acronyms mixed up. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
There it is. Yeah.
So they were actually in the same area. They were in the tattoo there. They were also at the Estes Parks games. So,
awesome.
But a tattoo is a display of, there's marching bands, there's brass bands, there are. I think last year in Stories they had steel drum, I believe.
That's awesome.
Right? So that was pretty cool.
So Nicole, when you were there, what did you see? Was it just bagpipes, or did they begin to add in these new acts?
Well, I was going to jump on and ask that because like when we just saw bagpipes from everywhere. And that's what like kind of blew my mind is that all these different countries had a bunch of bagpipe players. So there were some dancing, but I will tell you that the majority of the military tattoo were the bagpipe players. So I was going to ask, like, during all this is during the Fringe Festival. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was just like, this is like a huge arts time for Edinburgh.
Absolutely.
With all of this coming in like completely internationally. Because I remember just going for the Fringe Festival, and that was something that we did as an off time because we were actually performing. So that's actually pretty cool.
I remember when we were there in 2022, the best part about having it be on that month and with Fringe is the city's alive until like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. So you can
story.
I think of my time walking with Colleen and senior drum major Kevin Conquest at 2 a.m. to a pizza parlor that was closed and gave us free pizza. I mean, that was the best part of going out to Edinburgh at night. All right, Zach, what have you been up to, man? What have you been doing performance wise, life wise? Just spill it, man.
Yeah. So around the end of August, so Labor Day weekend, I participated in the Pleasanton Scottish Games.
Awesome.
Where it was a great drum major competition with Colleen, with Jack. Lots of fun spinning and performing in the mass bands. Then about a week later, I went with Colleen and a few other drum majors to perform at the Estes Park International Tattoo, which is a smaller scale drum major or a smaller scale military tattoo compared to Edinburgh, but still a very nicely sized tattoo. It's held in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. Amazing scenery, amazing nature and wildlife. And a really fun fact is because we are part of a Flourishing Drum Major Act, we have to toss our bases really high in the air. And because of the elevation, which is around 8,000 feet where we're performing, it feels a lot easier to toss higher. And it's there are more rotations that I can get from the same amount of force when you apply it. And it's just a great feeling, but it is something we have to get used to.
Yeah.
Colleen and I helped design the Flourishing Drum Major routine, which we help teach and perform with the other drum majors at the tattoo, along with being actually functional drum majors leading the mass bands throughout the performance.
So you guys were running double duty.
We were.
I do have to jump in and ask a question. This is
Go.
non drum major person asking. Can you give me a definition or a description of a flourishing drum major?
Sure. So a drum major, first and foremost, is someone who is a leader of a band. And primarily in the Scottish circuit, it is of someone with a large mace. So you can identify them. A flourishing drum major is using those while maintaining the same ability of leading the bands and giving drill sequences, being able to entertain the audience with flourishing your mace, meaning you get to spin it kind of like in color guard when you're spinning something, but it's with the mace that you're giving drill commands with. Being able to toss it in the air horizontally, vertically, in the side. There are lots of spinning routines and sequences like color guard, but it's different.
Do you do that while leading the band?
Oh yeah,
you can.
What?
Yeah. So, like in the California high school marching band circuit, lots of drum majors perform their flourishing routines on the parade block. It's similar to that, where when we perform to live music, we perform to bagpipes, oftentimes marching when we're flourishing.
Yeah. Multiple responsibilities. Okay, I like it.
We always gotta fall back on that marching deportment, right? Always gotta fall back on it. Yeah, I can attest to that entire the change in altitude thing. So I can throw a quad pretty easy. I was getting like 4.5s just flicking my mace up. Like it was hilarious. Like it added an entire half rotation. So like you have to like actually spend like 3 or 4 hours adjusting to that because it'll throw you off, especially when you're throwing parallels. Like it can come down backwards on you. So yeah, no, that's no joke. That venue is no joke.
How long are those maces usually?
Usually up to shoulder. We usually measure from bottom to armpit to shoulder. So, I mean, we're throwing, yeah. And it's usually made out of a cane, a specific cane called Malacca cane. So it's usually a very aerodynamic, tapered cane that goes down to a metal bar, and that's a ferrule. And there's a counterweight on it called the crown, and that's the big part of it, the big part of the mace. So there's some imbalance on the equipment, so that's what you use to get it up on a toss. So, yeah, no, there's lots of interesting factors for different venue changes. So for Edinburgh, infamously, it's the rain and it's the wind that gets you, right? Like thank the good beings. We never dropped, we never slipped out there. But it's also on a slant too, that venue. So you're going down a hill. So infamously, there's a story. The reason why drum majors don't flourish in the military is because at Edinburgh a long time ago, it's kind of an urban legend, right, in the drum major world, right, Colleen?
Yeah.
So one of the regimental drum majors dropped a very, very precious mace. These maces can go anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000, right? They can be covered in gold. Dropped the mace in performance during a toss. It shattered and then proceeded to roll down the venue outside of the venue. And from that day forward, the boot was dropped. No military drum majors shall flourish. Fun fact, no regimental drum majors shall flourish. And that means a regimental drum major is usually a number 1 uniform, right? So they're in the big feather bonnet hats, the full plaid, really, really heavy wear. However, the most recent time that this has occurred, Colleen and I broke that tradition after 70 plus years, where Colleen wrapped me up in a number 1 gear, and we went out there and I threw in number 1 gear and did not drop. So, we broke that curse. We broke that Edinburgh curse. We don't really like to talk about it that much, but heck, we'll put our signature on that one. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, there's been just so many performances in the summertime, and it's such a crazy thing to be able to just jump from one side of the continent to the next. So it's been so awesome seeing you out on the field, Zach and Colleen, just absolutely just doing an amazing job. I actually wanted to ask one thing about the design for the flourishing sequence. So how many drum majors did you have at Estes, and what was your guys's goal going into that performance?
Zach, I'll let you answer that one.
Sure. So we had designed our Flourishing design for 6 drum majors.
Awesome.
We performed to the music of Two Steps from Hell called Evergreen. And our goal mainly is to put on a show. We had about a 5-minute slot within the entire 2 hours or so of performance. So we wanted to make our performance memorable. A big part was showcasing what each drum major could do. So much of our routine was synchronized, but I would say about half of the routine was meant to display the individual capabilities of each drum major. So whether that's solos or group synchronizations of certain tosses and flourishes, it's meant to display both the ability of how high we can toss, how advanced our flourishing capabilities are, as well as the rigid and discipline that we can spin with each other, spin as a group, and our individual capabilities.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what was one of the tosses that you brought to the show, Zach?
I would say for me, I enjoy doing parallels to in the venue just because how easy it is to toss high.
Yeah, absolutely. Colleen?
Yes.
You know me, behind the back, up, just put it up as high as I can. And I just want to give a shout out to Mel Gaba, who performed with us. He is pretty new to the flourishing part, and he worked his behind off to.
That was awesome.
Moment we saw him, we were walking around getting food and stuff, and Mel was off in the corner practicing, and even sitting on the bus, he would be doing this, and he pulled it off. And super proud of him, and hopefully he will be joining us again on the team in the future.
By the way, he's a colonel. He's an awesome human being. Absolutely awesome human being, and just an awesome leader as well, too. So
Yes.
That shout out is 100% granted. Yeah, and it's so cool to be able to interface with drum majors from different parts of the world when you go to these events and learn new things, right? So you were able to share moves, share ideas and concepts, and that really builds the camaraderie of our circle. And just to see you two doing that, I mean, it's so awesome, so awesome. And I'm really proud of both of you for being able to make a show. And like, how many days did you guys have to prep for that?
Oh, we had some time. I mean, Zach and I actually Zoomed while I was in Scotland just to, kind of get some formation, where we're going to be stepping into the arena and when standing. And a lot of the flourishing came once we got there. But as Zach already had some ideas in his head, and it evolved as we worked. But we really, let me see, we were there Thursday, Friday, a little bit on Wednesday, I think. But really not long to put it together. And so it gets to be a little, it's taxing sometimes because it's thin air and you get tired fast, just trying to walk where we were staying up to where we were eating, and we're all huffing and puffing.
So I have to ask a question. Whenever this is being put together, it's always a collaborative effort?
In Edinburgh?
Like anytime that it's being put together, like when you're doing these flourishing pieces, like, is it a collaborative effort with everyone who is doing it, or does one person pretty much write it out?
So this is interesting because this is sort of a new thing in regards to tattoos, as the flourishing sequences. Colleen and I were sort of like in the U.S. proper. We've seen groups from across the pond in Scotland and Ireland do flourishing routines, and we brought that model out into the U.S. And so now what we're doing is, now that we have access to more venues in the tattoo world out here, thank you to Kevin Conquest, another shout out.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're getting larger groups of drum majors. So we usually start with an overarching concept in mind, but then we go down to the micro level, where we focus on abilities, because this is a cross-generational performance, as in individuals are better at certain moves than others. So what we try and do is we try and say, okay, what are we good at these parts? Where can we strategically place each person so that they can really provide that level of performance and awesomeness in the overall routine? And so it's sort of a mosaic. Each performance is a mosaic, and the best part is when you get that clean run afterwards and it looks like just a well-oiled machine, right? New ideas, new different types of throws and moves being given at the same time that each complement each other, be it by different levels, different level changes, different positions on the field. It's really cool. We'll make sure to post a video of it because it's an awesome performance, and we want to get more people to see it. Right?
Well, I was just about to say, this is part of the marching arts, and like this is something that Flow Marching should jump on, so that you can all get all of the accolades that you deserve.
Yeah, thank you. All right, speaking of tosses, we're going to toss this to a commercial break, and then we'll be back with our Gush and Goes with Nicole, Zach, and Colleen. All right, we'll see you in a bit.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy, your producer from On a Water Break, and here are your announcements coming from the box. While you're enjoying this amazing episode, don't forget our other episodes, including the one about Peggy Twiggs, the one where we go behind the scenes of the Olympics and the marching arts. We check out the first female drummers from CrossNet. We also have amazing special features, including At Step Off with Jack Goudreau, Lost in Translation with Cynthia Bernard, and Behind the Lens with Chris Marr and Russell Tanakayev. Don't forget our other bonus feature, On a Water Break With, where we explore individuals or small groups. We talk to people like Eric Carr, Forte Athletics, and comedian Tony Deo. If you know of a story, or you know of someone that would make a great story, email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com. Okay, field staff, take it away.
Everyone's in rank and file, so let's do this. It's time for What Are We Doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Nicole.
What are we doing not having flourishing drum majors on Flow Marching at DCI? This is something new that needs to be brought out to the forefront, and it doesn't need to be hidden. And I really think that this would be something that would be great to bring on to the fields. I'm just thinking ahead of time, but people get on it.
I second this. I totally second this. All right. Colleen, what are we doing?
What are we doing not having glow sticks attached to our maces so we can do those night tattoos and just like light it?
Right? Or better yet, a lightsaber mace. Who would, right? Right?
Y'all, there are people that can get this done for you. I'm not kidding.
That would be
It
awesome.
can be done. Just like Field of Gold or whatever.
Yeah, there's no, right?
Yes, it can be done. It can be made.
Awesome.
All right, Zach, what are we doing?
What are we doing not having tattoos be a more recognized activity amongst, high school musicians and music in general?
That's true. That's true. All right. So my final thing. What are we doing about not spinning a number one uniform? Right? People need to give it a try. People do need to give this a try, right? I know there's an entire soapbox of people saying, oh, you need to just be regimental in a number one uniform. But if you know how to do it, give it a shot. Dave Melton, one of the amazing drum majors on the West Coast, he does it every competition, and he has a spotless uniform. His uniform is textbook perfect. Yes, Nicole?
Jack, what is a number one uniform for those listening who don't know?
Okay, so basically a number one uniform is a giant uniform, basically a very cumbersome uniform. You have a giant bearskin or a feather bonnet that goes up roughly about 1 foot over your head, right? So it's huge. Then you have this large tartan, right, that's wrapped around your body. So it's constricting you. And then you usually have a cross belt intersecting that. So there's another constriction on that. And then you have your undershirt. Then you're in a kilt with a horsehair sporran. And then usually you're in gillies with metal points at the bottom. So there's a lot of interfering factors to flourishing in this, right? But I will say, as the guinea pig for this, it is possible and it is doable. So for all our drum majors out there who are scared to do it. Just do it. All right.
Great job, everyone. Set your equipment down. Gush and go.
All right, and now we're here for Gush and Goes. Nicole, what's up?
Well, I always gush and go sometimes about stuff that has nothing to do with color guard or the marching arts activity.
Go for it.
Yeah, so I kind of told you about it before. I guess I'm on some kind of journey to become, I don't know, older, but I have these great glasses and they're pretty and we always put them out for like special occasions. Well, we got that and then we got this really cute picture to match from one of our friends. I can't wait to use it. I just want to have a dinner party like tomorrow. But I'm gushing and going about that.
I'm here for a matching table set. Matching table sets, very, very nice. And what are the chances? What are the chances of it? All right. Colleen, what's your gush and go about this week?
Gush and go. It's all about the barbecue, baby.
All right.
All about
Tell us about it.
Yeah. I have now 3 barbecues in my backyard. My husband is not happy, but you know what? You're gonna get gas. You're gonna get smoked, seared, baked, everything. I'm gonna do it.
Okay, I'll give you my address. I really like brisket. I really want to try that pie. Like, yeah.
I also didn't know you can grill a pie. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it's all convection. And it was a blueberry pie from the pie company out of Ripon. And oh my golly, it was to die for.
Sounds good. All right, Zach, gush and go.
My gush and go is I'm going to survive my first week of classes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait, so Zach, I want to know, like, because you're in school now, did you come like right home and go into school or what?
I went home and then I was home for about 3 days and then I moved in. Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. Okay. Well, we are all behind you. We want you to have a good school year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just for our audience perspective, Zach is one of the most brilliant-minded individuals I've ever met in my life. He is going to be my lawyer, by the way, just a fun fact. So, got that long-term deposit as an instructor. So, yeah, we're all really proud of you. We're all so proud of you, and you're going to do amazing. Tell the audience what you're going in for.
I'm studying applied mathematics at UCLA. I want to go into the fields of intellectual property or patent law.
Yeah. Super proud of you. All right. And I'll finish my gush and go for the week. My gush and go is I am so happy this week is over because I am in emergency medical responder training this week as part of my medical school. So just finished finals. And so we studied basically hundreds of hours for this final, got whacked by this final. I did fine on it. I got like one of the highest scores in the class. I'm going to flex on that. But then we got like a day and a half break and then we had to do an online course. And this week has been basically a bunch of CPR on 225 models. So my arms are a little bit dead right now. So drum major practice this week has not been too hot. It's not been too hot at all. So my arms have been feeling it. So I'm looking forward to this weekend. So I'm gushing and going about that. So amen.
Hey, it's called Gush and Go, not Gush and Stay. Let's go.
All right. So this has been an awesome episode. Thank you for everyone, all of our guests that have been here. Nicole, you're awesome. Colleen, Zach, you guys are always just a great perspective to have on as well, too. One more thing before we go. We want to plug you guys on your socials. Are you on Facebook, on Instagram? Where can our audience find you?
I am on Facebook. Also, if you look at Clovis Ace Hardware, I post a lot of stuff on that. But Colleen McMillan Colleen McMillan Wilson on Facebook, and look me up. Got a lot of fun videos to watch.
Yep. If you're interested in anything drum major, reach out to her and Zach.
I am on Instagram at Zach.she.
All right. Awesome. All right. One more thing before we go. Don't forget that we have our YouTube channel now, so that you can always go back and watch all the interviews that we've had. Anything that's coming out, we have it all out in full video now. So that's awesome. So you can get to see our hilarious facial expressions. So go and subscribe so you don't miss out on those. Also, before you close out your podcast app, make sure that you subscribe to us there and write us a review. Share us with a friend. Follow us on our socials at On a Water Break, and we'll see you at the next rehearsal on a water break. Band, you are dismissed.
Go practice.
Yes. Not this weekend, though. My arm.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Ream. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.